In today's video, we're talking about a shoe I never expected to buy and certainly didn't expect to buy two pairs of. The Adidas Adizero Adios Pro 4. Why? Because I really didn't get along with the previous version, the Adizero Pro 3. For me, the fit was off, the eyelets on the laces were uncomfortable, and no matter if I stayed true to size in my UK size 10 or I sized up, I just could not get a good fit. I know many people love the Pro 3, but I just wasn't one of them. And historically, I haven't worn Adidas running shoes that much either. I have the Adizero Prime X Strung 2, but I really don't use them that often. And after my issues with the Pro 3, I knew I had to try these on in store before buying them. So I took myself off to the Adidas store in London, and after trying a few different sizes, I got the silver and red colourway first. Did the Pro 4 win me over? Well, since I've got two pairs of them, I'm pretty sure that's obvious, but let's dive in anyway. Let's go. Now, as always, let's start with the basics. I paid 220 British pounds for each of these pairs, and I got a UK size 10.5, which is a US size 11. In this size, it weighs in at 221 grams. The stack height at the back is 39mm, and it actually says that here on the inside of the heel, and it drops down to 33mm at the front, so we've got a 6mm drop. Now, in the last month, I've pretty much done all of my running in the Pro 4s, doing about 70 miles in the yellow pair I've got and 30-ish, maybe 35 miles in the silver and red pair. Now let's talk about sizing in the Adizero Pro 4 because this is crucial. As I mentioned, I had to go in store to try these on and I was advised to go up half a size. So I went for a UK size 10.5, which is a US 11. And that makes sense because in Adidas sizing, the UK size 10.5 is a US 11 and a Euro 45. And in all other brands, a UK size 10 is usually also a size 11 in the US. When I first tried them on, actually in the UK 10.5, it still felt a little bit tight, but the Adidas specialist told me to kick back right into the heel at the back. There's more room in here than at first it seems. And once I did that, I ended up getting a perfect fit. I would recommend going up half a size because of the sizing policy with Adidas being different to most other manufacturers. But please make sure you try them on first because other people have found that they fit true to size. We're all different and my opinion may be different to other reviewers out there. There are no substitutes really for getting into a store and putting them on to be sure. At 221 grams, that puts them right in line with the Vaporfly 3 and only slightly heavier than the Puma Nitro Elite 3 and the Asics Metaspeed Paris Edge and Sky. At 220 British pounds, they're priced the same as the Metaspeeds and nearly 70 pounds cheaper than the Nike Alphafly 3, which makes them a pretty solid deal in today's super shoe market. So let's get started with the upper. Adidas has gone with a soft, flexible and breathable material that actually reminds me more of something that you would find maybe on an Adidas jacket. It's light, airy and molds well into the foot. It's similar to what Nike used on the Alphafly if you've ever seen or worn them, but with more flex. And after nearly a month of running most days in the Pro 4, I can honestly say that the upper is one of the very best I've ever worn and light years better than the upper in the Pro 3 version in my opinion. The new light lock system on the side ensures that your foot stays exactly where it should be and helps the upper retain its shape. The lacing system has been completely redesigned, no more uncomfortable eyelets digging in your foot. The tongue is gusseted, which is pretty unusual actually for a carbon plated racing shoe, and it comes with a bit of padding between the laces to prevent pressure on the top of your foot. My only gripe actually is that the padding just could have extended a little bit more to cover more of the top of the laces, which is where runners often feel the most pressure when locking down the shoe tightly. Around the ankle there is solid padding, plus a flap at the rear to help you get the shoe on. And a really nice touch is that they have put this small detail on the back, this kind of motivational quote that says, "This too shall pass." I love small details like that. The laces are flat and pretty basic. I've said it before on this channel, I much prefer the grooved type laces that you get on the Alphafly or the Asics Metaspeeds. And I think maybe Adidas could have made it a little bit more interesting, maybe by even printing that same motivational speech on them that you found on the heel tab, "That too shall pass," onto the actual laces just to make them look a bit more interesting. That said, they do a good job. I haven't had any issues or any hot spots or any blisters, even on the longer runs I've done up to 18 miles so far. I've achieved a firm lockdown without the need for a runner's knot at all. Now let's talk about the biggest upgrade, which is the midsole. The re-engineered Lightstroke Pro Foam is way softer than before, making this one of the plushest super shoes on the market today. The ride is incredibly comfortable, striking an excellent balance between softness and responsiveness. Only the new Saucony Endorphin Elite 2 is softer on the market today, and I've not had a chance to run in them, so I can't actually compare these to them. Inside the foam, Adidas has stuck with the energy rod system, the carbon rods running full length of the midsole. Aside from the Adizero Prime X Strung 2, this is the first time I've really spent any time running at all with rods instead of a flat carbon plate. In theory, the rods should allow for more flexibility, working somewhat independently. I'm not sure how much different that makes, but I can say that I've been very happy so far with how they felt under my foot. The outsole is well protected with the Adidas light traction rubber covering most of it, except for a small strip of Continental rubber at the forefoot. I already know how well the Continental rubber performs, but I wasn't sure about the light traction rubber, especially in mixed conditions. The light traction rubber is pretty much transparent to look at and has some very unique patterns, with some areas having slightly raised lugs and other areas having smoother rubber. After running in all conditions except snow in the last month, I can confirm that the outsole on the Pro 4 is just about perfect. I honestly don't know what magic Adidas have used to achieve this minimal yet grippy balance, but it works an absolute treat. The only potential issue that we may find is because the midsole is so soft, there's a lot of compression between the midsole foam and the outsole rubber, which in time is likely to see areas of wear and potential separation between the light traction rubber on the heel area and the foam. This will definitely be more evident if you're a heavier runner, and particularly if you're a heel striker. The outsole design includes a cutout that exposes the carbon rods, along with a channel running from the midfoot back to the heel. I was initially concerned that this channel might pick up some debris like stones, but in the 70-ish miles that I've done in the yellow pair and the 30-ish miles I've done in the grey-red pair, I haven't actually had this issue at all so far. So with all that said and done, what are they like to run in? Well, running in these has been an absolute joy. I believe a sign of a great running shoe is when you can put them on and forget you're even wearing them. And with the Pro 4, it's like your foot and the shoe are in harmony. They don't feel as aggressive as something like maybe the Vaporfly 3 or the Metaspeed Edge Paris do, but the rocker helps you turn over your stride quickly and efficiently. The foam absorbs impact beautifully, and for me they've been stable and well balanced as a neutral runner. The heel platform is about 8.5 centimeters wide, which is just about right, although not as wide as the heel in something like the Alphafly 3. Now, while this shoe is designed for long distances, I found it to be fantastic for shorter runs as well. Over the past 3 weeks, I've used my 2 pairs for everything from a comfortable 4-miler to an 18-mile Sunday long run. It's versatile, but it really shines when you push into those tempo efforts and beyond. Sitting at marathon pace, this is where the Pro 4 is the equivalent of a kid in a sweet shop. It simply purrs like a happy cat. I found it very easy to keep consistent pace, and because it's so light, it keeps your legs fresh and energized. I've noticed less post-run aches as well, and pains in these too, and often feeling like I could run again later in the day, which must be down to the excellent balance between the compressive TPE foam and the energy return that you get from it. Another thing that not many people or reviewers have mentioned, but to me makes a big difference, is how much quieter they are to run in compared to other carbon-plated super shoes out there. This is likely due to the individual rods compared to the flat plate in the other racers, but it makes a difference, especially when you're running for 3 hours plus, to not hear that loud slapping noise that you get with something like the Alphafly 3, for example. After several 15-mile plus runs, I can say that I've not had any hot spots, rubbing areas or pressure points. The upper is breathable and comfortable, and with the light lock system helping achieve a firm lockdown that lasts the entire run. The heel is well padded with enough structure to avoid any heel slip. That said, it will largely be dependent on getting them in exactly the right size, as I mentioned before, and wearing a high quality running sock, which for me is shoe socks every single time. The upper is roomy and flexible, though the toe box does narrow quite aggressively. There's also an internal toe bumper that helps maintain the shoe shape while adding a little protection to your toes also. An important consideration is if you are a heavier runner and you heel strike, the very soft light stroke Pro foam in the Pro 4 will sink and potentially give you some stability issues, which will exaggerate even further if you pronate at all. I fluctuate between 76 and 80 kilograms, and for me, it works very, very well. So just to give you a reference point. So, do I recommend the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro 4? Absolutely, but only if you get the sizing right. This is a shoe that you absolutely must try on before buying, because if you get the wrong size, you could end up with blisters and bleeding feet over longer distances. But if you nail the fit and you like the softer ride, this could very well be the best long distance super shoe on the market right now. For me, it's overtaken the Nike Alphafly 3 as the best marathon distance shoe, and that's a big statement from me since I've been a huge Alphafly 3 fan since it was released. So if you're in the market for a half or full marathon super shoe, then give this one a very serious look. It really does sit up there with the Asics Metaspeed and the Alphafly 3 as the very best for long distance racing, and at 220 British pounds, it's excellent value from Adidas too. If, like me, you were previously not a fan of the Pro 3, forget about your experience in them and give these a try. I'm absolutely sure you'll not regret it. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have you tried the Adios Pro 4? What's your go-to racing shoe for your races? Drop your opinions down below to help others decide if the Pro 4 might be a good choice for them. If you've enjoyed this video and it's helped at all, please consider hitting the like button. And if you're not already a subscriber and enjoy unbiased reviews, then consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to check out one of my other favourite racing shoes, the Asics Metaspeed Paris, then check out this video here. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one.